Back in 2021, a random hacker pulled off the biggest crypto heist in history, stealing over $600 million. But what made this story different is what happened next. The hacker didn't disappear to some island to live his best life. In fact, he had no intention of keeping the money. And so he gave it all back. Every last dollar. Wait, what? Who gives back $600 million? And how was this heist even possible? Let's break it down. The project that got hacked was called Poly Network. And if you've never heard of it, that's okay, most people haven't. Poly Network was used to move tokens between different blockchains. Imagine you have a gift card for one store, let's say Amazon, but you want to shop at a totally different store, like Walmart. You can't just use your Amazon gift card at Walmart, so you need a service that can take your Amazon balance and give you the equivalent at Walmart. That's kind of what Poly Network did, but with blockchains instead of stores. In the crypto world, blockchains like Ethereum and Bitcoin are like two separate islands. Poly Network's job was to build the bridges that connected these islands. And because people trusted it, billions of dollars flowed through those bridges. But like all software, Poly Network was built using code. And when you're the bridge for that much money, you better hope your code is flawless. Unfortunately, one line was indeed wrong, and that was all it took. It was the 10th of August, and suddenly, over $600 million worth of cryptocurrencies were gone. It happened in minutes. No alarms, no warnings, just empty wallets. The hacker moved fast, targeting each one with surgical precision. Poly Network's internal system saw the transfers, but by then, it was too late. You can't call the police on a blockchain. There's no undo button. Once those tokens were moved, they were gone. Everybody's money had just disappeared out of thin air. Hundreds of millions of dollars had just been stolen from people all around the world. People who had their trust in this project. The team at Poly Network was in chaos. They were scrambling to understand what happened, where the vulnerability was, and most importantly, who did it. Their entire credibility had just evaporated. So they did something weird. They posted an open letter on Twitter, directly to the hacker. The tweet went viral. "Dear hacker," it began. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't even angry. It was almost diplomatic. Then came the next part. "We want to establish communication with you and urge you to return the hacked assets." The amount of money you hacked is the biggest one in DeFi history. Law enforcement in any country will regard this as a major economic crime, and you will be pursued. This was both acknowledgement and flattery, an attempt to appeal to the hacker's ego and open a dialogue with him. Bringing up law enforcement was just a manipulation tactic. The people over at Poly Network knew that bringing the issue through the legal system would be a timely matter. And everyone wanted their money back now, so they had to play it smart. "You should talk to us to work out a solution." The closing line brought it all together. It was collaborative, and just vague enough to leave the door wide open. At that point, the community held its breath. Thousands of people were watching. And then, the hacker responded. They started sending tiny crypto transactions, pennies worth, and embedded messages inside them. One said, "Did I just save the project?" Another said, "Now considering returning some tokens or just leaving them here." The hacker wasn't panicking. He was thinking, talking, rationalizing. The suspense was electric, because now the question wasn't just who did it. It was, what are they going to do next? And then came the bombshell. The hacker sent another message. "Ready to return the funds." That one line changed everything. Suddenly, the crypto world shifted from outrage to shock and then to anticipation. Was it real? Was this a trap? Or was the hacker serious? Poly Network confirmed the message on their Twitter. They said they were in touch with the hacker and that some funds had already been transferred to a secure multi-signature wallet. The internet exploded. Crypto Twitter, Telegram groups, Reddit threads, everyone had an opinion. Some people cheered, others were suspicious. Over the next few hours, the hacker slowly began returning more assets. But it still wasn't clear. Was he doing this voluntarily? Or was he forced into a corner with no way out? The hacker would go on to answer a few of these questions in a Q&A. It read as follows. Why hacking? For fun, smiley face. Why transferring tokens? To keep it safe. When spotting the bug, I had a mixed feeling. Ask yourself what to do had you facing so much fortune. Asking the project team politely so that they can fix it? Anyone could be the trader given 1 billion. I can trust nobody. The only solution I can come up with is saving it in a trusted account while keeping myself anonymous and safe. I would like to give them tips on how to secure their networks. I prefer to stay in the dark and save the world. His reasoning was that if someone else had found this bug before him, then they would have really taken off with the money. It was theatrical, mysterious in a way, and it added fuel to the debate. Over the span of a couple days, all of the funds were returned, $610 million. But not before the hacker made sure the Poly team fixed their security issue. And what's most surprising is not only did Poly Network not go the legal route, but they even offered the hacker a $500,000 reward. They called it a bug bounty, a standard practice in the tech world where ethical hackers are paid for discovering vulnerabilities. Since we believe your action is white hat behavior, we plan to offer you a $500,000 bug bounty after you complete the refund fully. We will also ensure that you will not be held accountable for this incident, and we will publicly express our gratitude to you, they said. At first, the hacker declined the reward. He wrote, "The Poly did offer a bounty, but I've never responded to them. Instead, I will send all of their money back." Then he said that maybe he'd give it to the people affected by the small market crash that happened following his hack. I felt sorry for any innocent people who were affected by my wild adventure. I tried to avoid introducing any noises to the crypto world. Seriously, I am considering taking the limited bounty as one source of the compensation fund for unexpected victims. Poly Network later said they had offered the hacker a job to become a security advisor. After it was all said and done, and the funds were all returned, the hacker released a final statement to the project's team. He closed it by saying, "As you may have noticed, I have poured your bounty and my compensation fund from donations into the shared multi-sig wallet. Not sure if it's convenient, but distributing the extra assets to the survivors would be the last request from this man, your chief security advisor." And if you're wondering if Poly Network is still around, well, no. While the project continued to operate after the hack with the new security enhancements, it officially shut down over 3 years after the incident, on the 30th of September, 2024. The decision was made citing changing market conditions. So who was this hacker? This question remains unanswered. He left no identity, no trace, not even a clue about what country he was in. But people tried to figure it out. They traced wallet histories, analyzing token movements for weeks leading up to the hack. They broke down the hacker's grammar and vocabulary, looking for cultural hints or writing patterns that matched known figures. Some thought it was an insider, someone who had worked with Poly Network before and knew exactly where to look, but nothing was ever confirmed. The hacker vanished just as quickly as they appeared. No face, no fingerprint, just a trail of returned tokens and a few strange messages. And that's part of what makes this so unusual. In a world where you can trace every transaction, you still might never know who's behind the keyboard.